6'8" from Tennessee, number 12, Tobias.
The New York Knicks getting healthier. OG, Jalen do season. Ream. So this is the start of a gauntlet for New York. Brunson got him to open play. It's a three.
Well, that's a big one for him because he had his worst shooting night of the year 2 weeks ago against the Pistons. Didn't make a three all night, so to get that first one's big.
Yeah, if you're Thompson, you like, no. You don't want him to see his first shot go down because he becomes a handful when he sees that first one goes in.
Cunningham misses on the fade. Brunson thought there was contact from Thompson. Now they'll work it to the other side, and Bridges. Hard drive, kick, OG Anunoby, shooting practice. Can't hit the three. And the ball deflected out of bounds off of New York. Defended by Anunoby. Robinson in and out. And Hart has got the board. Robinson shooting 40% from downtown.
And been it even better lately.
And a travel called on Brunson.
The Pistons defense has bothered Jalen Brunson.
Harris, New York native, off the mark. That first meeting was a 121-90 Detroit victory. Cunningham had 29 points, 13 assists. Hart, he got denied by Reed. And a break opportunity here. Thompson, no look. Robinson, ball fake, the flyby, and the jumper is too strong. Long pass, caught by Hart. Touchdown, Knicks on the jam.
Well, that's
Unseld-like. Paul Reed on the interior cracks the seal for Detroit.
Well, that's what Detroit will do, Dwayne, is even when you score, they're coming right back at you. This team's third in the league in fast break points, and they're not all off the turnovers.
Well, that makes Jalen Brunson turnover a little better because it wasn't one that allowed Detroit to get out in transition. It was one that they had to take the ball out on the side. You can get back, and you can set your defense.
Absolutely.
Missed by Anunoby. The Knicks are 2 of 5 from the field. The Pistons are 1 of 5. Thompson gives up his dribble, needs some help. And Towns nearly got a steal. Reed with the handles. Reed, that's a step back J, and it's short.
I think New York will be pretty happy if those are the shots the Pistons ends up getting tonight.
Knicks come in number 3 in offensive rating, number 11 in defensive rating, but much improved over the last 12 games.
Yeah, not last 12 games, Ian. The best defensive rating in the league.
Brunson with the shaken. The mistakes in the first half of the season. 13.6 turnovers per game, 4th fewest in the NBA. Compare that with Detroit.
Than anything and anyone.
And Brunson adds to the New York lead. Detroit comes in 15.3 turnovers per game, 23rd in the NBA. They are number 1 in a bunch of categories. Steals, forced turnovers. Cunningham, short. Harris got his hands on it, and Bridges with a loose ball foul.
Well, both these
He's going to come out too high. He's going to allow for that shot, and he's going to get it right there all night.
And the 3-ball won't go. The Pistons are 1 of 8 from the field. Brunson turns the corner on Cunningham. Feed it, wide open look. Bottom, Bridges.
Well, Bridges is number 1 in the league in corner threes made. That's his 61st one of the season.
Ball movement leads to a Harris baseline delivery, and nothing is going down for Detroit. Offensive rebound, Reed to Harris, and that's short off the rim. And knocked out of bounds off of
team Detroit, but they made 33 threes in the 2 games against New York this year. And quite simply, if Detroit's going to make threes, they're going to be pretty hard to beat.
I think they're getting great looks, and I wouldn't be mad at these misses right now. It finally goes for Cunningham because they're getting great looks. And so you eventually feel if we continue to get looks like this, they will fall.
Field goal percentage defense, Detroit's right near the top. They're number 2 in the NBA. They're 5th in defending the 3. But Stan, you alluded to it. Shooting the 3 has not been their forte. And that ball rolls off of Hart. Towns way outside. Somehow that made its way to Bridges. The bullet feed and the awareness of Hart to hit Bridges for 2.
Well, that's great ball movement, and you see one of the reasons New York's one of the best offenses in this league.
Cunningham hangs and hits, plus the harm.
Force Cade Cunningham baseline to his strong hand.
Yeah.
Your help's got to be a lot quicker than what it was right there.
Half-court set here for New York. They lead the Pistons 11-8.
Coach, I don't think that's the game plan. I don't think sending Cade to a strong hand.
Spin. Anunoby gets the roll. That was pretty.
Well, that's an area over the course of his career where he's really improved, being able to put the ball on the floor and make plays.
And Anunoby makes the defensive play. Opportunity for the Knicks to extend their lead. Anunoby wants it against Cunningham. Isolation. 10 to shoot. Towns.
That's all.
And it bounces off the front of the rim. He wanted to call down low against Reed. Thompson hasn't been involved here offensively. Oh, killer cross. Dish. Cunningham gets it to go. That's a highlight.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you just reverse jinxed Asar Thompson saying he hadn't been involved.
Well, that's the role of the play-by-play man. Get guys motivated.
Yeah, you certainly did.
13-10. Knicks.
Got him.
The bump. And Harris is going to the free throw line.
But he didn't use his athleticism and just take off. He stayed on his feet. He stayed on his feet, which allowed him to make a great pass to Cade. Cade's
power the ball up.
Mitchell Robinson in, Mohamed Diawara in. So Diawara remains in the rotation ahead of the newly acquired Jeremy Sohan, who Mike Brown told us is probably going to get worked in slowly. Pistons sticking with the 5 on the floor. Brunson, the Euro, no. Robinson got a tip attempt, and it's cleared by Reed. 1-point lead for the Knicks. Cunningham couldn't bank it in. And now a break if the Knicks can run quickly. Hart right down the middle. He banks it home.
Hart's a great finisher. You get him in transition, he's going to finish the play. For a guy who isn't a great athlete over the rim.
Well, Coach, also, too, he does not get any play calls. That's his opportunity as Tobias get the and one.
A chance at a three-point play for them with a chance to tie this game up. And does not. 5:30 to go in the opening quarter. 4 team fouls against New York, just 1 against Detroit. Diawara way outside. Mike Brown impressed by Diawara's feel. Robinson, kick, extra. Brunson, short. Knocked away by Diawara. On his horse is Harris. Ooh. Was that a self-pass? That's what the fans thought. Cunningham knocks in a triple.
Told you we weren't worried about Cunningham coming out missing those shots early. He's got into the rhythm and the flow, but he's getting all the shots that he wants.
Pistons up by 2, their first lead. Diawara to Shamit. It's off. And Reed with the board.
Well, Reed's doing a great job. And they did this to Mitchell Robinson the last time. He had no offensive rebounds.
And another changes here for Detroit. Ron Holland II is in, and Dennis Jenkins, who played here at the Garden for St. John's. In fact, his former head coach, Rick Pitino, is sitting courtside. Jenkins has been one of the great stories in the NBA this season. Brunson gets to the 10.
You know, even though Brunson scored there, you look at Thompson's defense on him, he makes Brunson kind of rush a little bit more than probably what he's comfortable with, because he knows he can't play around with him. So it makes him go a little faster.
That ends an 8-0 run. No look, ball movement. Jenkins gives it up. Cunningham sticks it.
Wow. I mean, Cunningham's a 33% three-point shooter, but against New York, he's lit it up every time they play, and that's his 3rd 3 already in the first quarter.
Diawara
pass
into Robinson for the flush.
That's 2 impressive passes by Diawara. One across
New York,
that's
and
right.
He is of his music career.
Inside, Holland, great post up. Reed feeds him, and they get the bucket to go to extend the lead to 4 as we start this second quarter. Iron Eagle, Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade, the coach Stan Van Gundy, Cassidy Hubbard, the rest of our NBA on Prime crew. Alvarado draws the big. Reed. Bridges is back in. Diawara as well. Towns has got the smaller Holland. Alvarado the speed, and the floater goes.
And one thing Mike Brown said about Alvarado is his energy is contagious. And you can see it whenever he enters the game. It's like a spark plug immediately, not just for the team, but for the entire city.
Reed inside to Green, who draws the foul. Diawara was there.
Basket with the ball. I think he's got to get down there.
Tap into the action.
The Pistons buried the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns had 4 points, 1 rebound, and 6 turnovers. Didn't play in the second game. He's got to get involved here. That's where their biggest advantage should be, other than maybe Alvarado.
Alvarado gets to the cup again.
Well, you don't want Cat not engaged. You don't want to disengage Cat Anthony Towns. And so I think it will be important for him to touch the ball, feel the ball, because if he doesn't, he's going to rush every opportunity he gets.
And Reed rocks the rim. Beautiful setup by Cunningham.
Paul Reed, always ready to go, Cassidy.
Ooh. Absolutely. I mean, actually, his nickname, B-Ball Paul, that's where it comes from. Just being around the gym, always around the ball, always playing, and it's stuck. And he told me his mindset right now is simple. I just got to keep showing everybody, including myself, that I can come in, be consistent, play the right way, and help my team win. And when I asked him what he has to prove to himself, he says, 6 years into this league, I understand the mistakes I made, and I can't make them again.
OG Anunoby, the defensive play, and then the leak out for the bucket. He's got 2 blocks tonight in the first half.
Well, the Knicks turning the tables a little bit on Detroit there, getting offense off of their defense.
Cunningham one-on-one with Bridges, playing with the 2 fouls. Cunningham the spin, the lean, the follow, no. Right through the hands of Reed. Green, he's going to hoist. Air ball and a shot clock violation. 22 points in the paint. The Pistons have 16. It's 8-3 in fast break points in favor of New York. Alvarado, they got blocked by LeVert. It's a run out. Holland find LeVert in the corner. Alvarado flies by, and LeVert can't make him pay.
Coach, did Paul Reed remind you of UD a little bit?
A little bit,
yeah, a little bit.
With the energy, the rebounding.
The activity, that's what I love.
Oh, a dunk wedgie! It doesn't after the wedgie. And Reed and Towns will do the honors.
There is more pushing and shoving here on a jump ball
than it is on a.
Towns steps away. Shamet guides it to himself, and the Knicks controlling.
They got to get Towns involved in this in the half court.
Towns has 1 field goal attempt.
He only had 4 field goal attempts the first time they played.
There we go.
Looking for him. Defense there by Green. Poke away, and it's out of bounds. Checks back in with Harris.
JB Bickerstaff talked in our meeting, Coach, about him watching them play early on in the open gym, how physical the team was versus each other, and how to channel that into opponents.
The miss by Alvarado. Cunningham, attack mode, stripped the ball by Shamet. Cunningham recovers, had it blocked on the inside. Bridges was draped all over him. Shamet, bullet feed. Bridges on a fade. Too strong. Towns, offensive rebound. Towns, Baker, no. And a foul.
That's what Karl Anthony Towns got to do, in my opinion. He's got to.
Because they see that it affects him. It affects his play. It affects his mannerisms. And so they're going to be extra physical. So he's going to have to put that hard head on in them Timberlands. And let's go out here and go to work.
Alvarado with a quick first half. Cunningham gets a clean look. Put it on the board.
That's great execution on the out-of-bounds play. Came off the back screen. Then as they inbounded, came off the pin down, just balanced up and knocked it in.
He's got 16 points on 6 of 16 from the field.
Yeah, well, he's only 3 for 11 from 2.
Towns, no. Grabbed by Robinson. He's fouled. So Robinson is going back to the free throw line.
Controlling that is tough with a big guard that can come off and shoot that.
Pistons are 13 of 32 as Robinson goes 1 out of 2. Brunson remains on the bench.
That one looked good.
That one did look pretty good. I mean, it still goes fast, though. Man, that's got to be close to 90 miles an hour.
LeVert misses from the outside, and it's rebounded by Shamet.
Well, Alvarado just competes. He competed on that play right there. You know, obviously it was a missed shot, but he competed on that. That's what makes him tough. He brings his toughness, his intensity to every possession on both ends of the floor.
Shamet, wild attempt. And there is a foul. Comedy legends Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson.
Then I go A+, I guess. They don't want just me. It's all good, Coach.
Yeah, there you go. That I understand. Okay, that one I get.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, you'll show up on that show with your 7 Labubus and go to town. 36-35, Detroit. Hart back in. He's defending Harris. 7 to shoot. Robinson, they send a second body to Harris. He gives up his dribble. Inside, Thompson just hanging out underneath, and he flushes it down.
That's a great pass by Tobias Harris.
Definitely.
Alvarado, leave it for Bridges. Back, Alvarado. It's off, short. And the rebound controlled by Harris.
Hand-to-hand combat down there with Tolu Smith and Mitchell Robinson.
Early offense, Alvarado goes down, and then New York.
Well, we've got the undrafted guard matchup now.
Oh, Harris ducks in. Big finish. And
Steph calling Cassidy.
His security blanket. Just because, you know, he's always steady and he's always
business opportunities about being in the league for as long as he has. Drop it inside. Robinson leans in and gets the roll.
Well, that's important, and you just said it. The business opportunities. A lot of guys have a lot of money, and you don't trust a lot of people, and you don't know what to do with it. And when you got a guy on your team that is very good in business and will sit down and help walk you through things, that right there is priceless.
Off the mark, Harris, but the cleanup for Smith. It's Tolu on the interior. Smith, originally from Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, moved to Hawaii before his junior year of high school. Brunson, the pull-up pop. Won't count. Harris, extra feed. Thompson can fly, and he lost it on the way up. Retrieved by Alvarado. 3-point lead for the Pistons. Brunson, one-on-one with Harris, gets around him, floats it up, no. Robinson, tip attempt, won't go, and cleared by Smith. Thompson, lob, catch by Smith in traffic. LeVert watched by Shemet. Thompson trying to give it up with 8 to shoot.
No spacing.
Thompson sizing up Shemet. Helped by Robinson. Shot clock winding down. Open look for Harris. Kaboom!
Great pass. Once again, understanding the floor, understanding the balance of the floor, knowing where your teammates are, head up, even when you're in an attack is important. By the way, Coach, if Tolan is the 4th big on this team, they got some good bigs over here,
You
man.
aren't kidding, man. J.J. Bickerstaff said he had confidence in him. He thought the matchup with he and Mitchell Robinson would be a good one.
Yeah. Missed by Shemet. Return feed Alvarado. Rims out. And the Knicks having major issues from 3-point range. They are 1 of 14 from downtown.
Well, they've only shot 33% in the 2 games against Detroit coming in, and this is.
With them, man. You know, we trust our defensive principles, so we're going to be straight.
Thanks.
Is New York tough enough to play this team? I mean, that's where, to me, the big difference is. This team, Detroit, just looks like a much tougher team. This looks like the big brothers against the little brothers, just physically pounding them for 5 halves of basketball so far.
And the easy bucket for Asar Thompson. Brunson trying to wheel inside. Hart penetrates, floats it up and in.
Stan, I believe that the Pistons believe that. They believe that they're tougher than the Knicks. You can tell by just the interview with Reed right there. They know that they have a defensive foundation, and they stand on that foundation, and they know its physicality and its toughness, and not many teams can match it.
Harris misses on the 3, and Brunson is fouled by...
Now he's going to come out. Can we get him near the basket where he would presumably have some advantage on Paul Reed? There we go.
Towns drives in, foul on Reed. Reed wants to challenge.
Sometimes you hold it too long, and he's not making those quick decisions, which
was his 3rd. Towns goes 2 out of 2.
My mind, this is a big 24 minutes here for the Knicks. Just in terms of their mindset on how both teams think. They need to make a statement to Detroit that they're not a team Detroit can just roll over.
Thompson with 7 to shoot. He's one-on-one with Brunson. Swing it for the Reed baseline jumper. It goes down. Paul Reed contributing in a major way.
Well, Paul Reed understands opportunity. You know, he talks about the first 6 years of his career, but you can see someone's put some work into his game. There we go, Cat. There we go, Cat.
That's from downtowns. Of missing three-pointers. It had been 15 in a row. Their longest consecutive streak of missed threes is 20 straight.
It's nothing like the ball going in to get your activity level up on the defensive end of the floor, which they really need Cat to be active. Just
Thompson.
like that, changing the shot.
Misses on the inside. Towns, no look for Anunoby. It's one-on-one with Cunningham. Hunkers down defensively.
Pick it out.
That's a deep one. Doesn't go.
He hit that. We back.
62-56. Detroit. Harris. Tough angle. And Thompson couldn't grab it as he was soaring through the air.
That's because he got pushed from behind.
Towns!
There we go.
A rack attack for Cat. Lead over New York, but it's shrinking. And a foul out front. Anunoby.
For the great people around the game, his dad, always great to see him.
Yes.
Cunningham, it rims out. Ball controlled by Bridges. Ahead for Towns. It's one-on-one with Robinson.
Oh, turn around and post up.
He vacates the paint area. Instead, it's Anunoby. And it's denied by Reed. Towns is there on cleanup duty. Aisle 32.
Well, he got the cleanup, but he had Duncan Robinson on him and ran to the weak side. Come on.
I'm not going
8-0
nowhere.
run.
I'm not going nowhere. I just got done scoring. I want the ball. I got a mismatch. Oh,
Towns lob it up. Anunoby could not adjust.
But we love his activity, coach. We love it. We love the way he's getting into this game, the way he's been active. That's what we want to see from Cat.
And Robinson cans a triple. What should have been an easy basket on one end turns into a three on the other for Detroit.
Yeah, missed layups usually get you run the other way. Duncan Robinson, the only Piston who runs to the three-point line. Everybody else goes to the rim, which brings a lot of defensive people, and then he shoots the three.
And Towns with contact. Foul call. No Stewart. Combined 7 fouls. Towns one-on-one with Smith. Step back three. Short. Cunningham up the floor, met by Hart. 5-point lead for the Pistons. And it's going.
The minimum thing, but becomes big as the game goes on.
Anunoby misses on the triple. They're now 2 of 20 from long range. Deflected, Bridges, but Robinson again. String music for Duncan Robinson.
The Knicks have to find him in transition.
Oh, Towns with the Euro, but he couldn't finish. Late whistle.
The more threes Duncan Robinson makes, the more space Cade Cunningham gets.
7:30 to play in the third quarter. Towns now has 14 points, 7 rebounds.
Well, and New York's shot 21 free throws already, which is not rare. Detroit gives up 30 a game.
Pistons have shot 10. Cunningham, same spot.
Favorite target tonight.
And the rebound went through the hands of Thompson. Brunson. He's got Harris defensively. Bridges setting a screen. Switch out front, playing with 4 fouls. Smith, Brunson, a series of moves.
Make him dance.
That's just special.
Make him dance.
I tell you what, though, that's a great shot, but Tolu Smith can move his feet. He did a great job there, and he had great discipline. His eyes were locked in on Brunson's midsection, but Jalen Brunson just found space.
Down goes Smith, down goes Towns, and a foul called against the Knicks out
Here's the
front.
dance you're talking.
Well, Towns has looked like a different player in this second half, but the Pistons still lead it by 4. Thompson, he draws the foul.
Well, that's what I've been.
58% at the free throw line. Of course, his twin brother of men is also a stand.
That there is a better perimeter defender in the NBA than either one of those guys. I think they're the 2 best right now. Taking into account their size, their quickness, their toughness, their strength.
Brunson.
No argument here, coach.
Draws a lot of attention. Anunoby can't hit the 3. And the problems continue from the perimeter for New York. 2 of 21. Thompson. That was an off-balance delivery. The Knicks couldn't gather. McDonald's at that trip to the airport, Stan?
Well, you know, I don't remember at that trip.
He might have. Turn around. Harris, he sticks it.
See, Detroit is going to take advantage when they have size and strength mismatches and go to work. This is a team that knows they're bigger and more physical than most teams.
Brunson bangs it in from long range. 72-67. Pistons, 5:47 play in the third. Cunningham, the cutter, off the hands of Smith, but retrieved by Harris. Cunningham got a three. On a bang-bang play, Cunningham.
I think I forgot how good he was on both ends of the floor. Wow. I think he's reminded everybody how great of a player that he is this year and what he can do as an individual talent to help carry a team. So we all are reminders.
Very magnanimous of you to point that out as nobody even questioned you.
Yeah,
it was just your own scouting report.
My own scouting report, I kind of forgot. And then this year I was like, that's him. That's the Finals MVP.
The Pistons lead the Knicks 75-67 with just under 5 minutes to go in the third. Brunson, the move on LeVert, and the fade is pure.
Karis LeVert has no chance against Jalen Brunson. He's all over the place. He's not locked in and on balance.
20 points for Brunson. The Pistons lead is 6. Anunoby guarding Cunningham, slicing, protecting, and scoring.
Wow. He is putting on a show out here tonight.
He's got 29 points.
Against a great defender in OG Anunoby.
The anticipation and steal by Green, taken right back by Diawara. Anunoby steps into it, missed it from long range.
Coach, K just never looks phased. He never looks phased no matter what's going on in the game.
Anunoby is now 0 of 6 from three-point territory, 2 of 11 overall. Cunningham inside the arc, unstoppable. Cade Cunningham is in the zone.
Wow.
Which way do you want it? How do you want it?
We've seen it all. Threes, drives, mid-range jumpers.
Brunson, fend off, poetry in motion.
Great job creating space there against Thompson.
79-71 Pistons, 3.5 to go in the third.
I think one thing that's underrated with Brunson, coach, is his hips. He has great hip mobility.
Cunningham, lob it, catch made by Smith. Cunningham, oh, what a fake! But a whistle is due in blowout fashion, and they lead the Knicks by 11 to open up the fourth. Bridges turns the corner, trying to hit the cutter Sohan, but it's deflected. Harris ahead. Jenkins can't catch up to it and spills into the front row.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Jeremy Sohan on Cade Cunningham when he comes back in.
Pistons now have 11 turnovers. Towns to the corner. Bridges fires. In and out. Harris is there for the board.
That's what he's brought in for. Sorry, Cole. That's what he's brought in for. His versatility on the defensive end of the floor, being that guy that can switch and play multiple positions.
They're shooting 15% from three, and Green misses from long range. Just underway, fourth quarter.
That's it.
Towns trying to go behind the back. He just lost control of it. Green to the rim. He flips it up and is fouled. Bridges was the last.
Quicker decisions.
Green comes in. 1 out of 2.
Well, you have a Pistons game, you usually have a lot of free throws because the Pistons are third in attempts. About 57 free throws a game if Detroit's involved.
91-79. Pistons. Towns aggressive going to the hole.
Well, he's more comfortable going to his left, and that's really the first opportunity he's had to get to his left hand today.
16 points, 8 rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns. LeVert double team, tried to build a wall, and it worked. Knocked out of bounds. Hopkins to shoot. LeVert is going to go long. Towns went for the steal. Reed with 5. Jenkins peeks at the clock. right in front of Patino. Jenkins gives it up, and the layup goes for Reed. And one. That should be a factor in March. Out of bounds. Knicks will retain. Just about 2 minutes gone by. Everybody at
shot clock. Those guys are going to be able to create shots.
Get it in for Alvarado. The Knicks are down by 13. Towns drives in on Reed. Denied! Big old block for Paul Reed. Harris gives up his dribble. Directing traffic. Green will set the screen. They'll switch. Harris against Towns. Nice move. Left hand no.
Look at Reed.
Controlled by Reed. Outside LeVert. Bottom. It's a three.
Reed.
This team is good, Coach.
Wow, all 4 of those teams up top are playing great.
And LeVert to block against Alvarado, but the Knicks hold on to it. Hart drives, and Hart scores.
There's been a lot of talk about how dominant the West is, and that talk is correct, but the East is making its way into that conversation with our top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference.
97-83 Pistons. LeVert find the open man. It's Reed, and he reverses it in.
Well, they had that entire side cleared on the pick and roll, so there was no low man help from the weak side.
And guys, paint points are 42-42 as Hart misses on a 3. That is a huge win if you're the Detroit.
From that standpoint.
The giveaway, Sohan is there, and he puts it down for his first points as a New York Knick.
Sohan may end up finishing this game for New York.
And he gets called on the bump. Off the trigger to Jeremy Sohan because he's a switchable defender and brings energy and fire. LeVert. He knocks it down. It's a 3.
This team is so deep, Detroit.
Caris LeVert has given Detroit its largest lead of the night. Knock away, LeVert with a steal. LeVert's got the angle, and he can't lay it in. The follow is good. It's Jenkins, and Detroit is just controlling the action yet again against New York. Shamet's 3 is good.
Well, they needed that.
Let's stay ball pressure, man. You know, they're getting over screens. When the pick and roll happens, when it's one-on-one, you can't just go by them easily. They got their hands stay active, their feet stay moving, and they look like they love playing defense.
They have 100% bought in. Harris stripped to the ball. It's out of bounds. J.B. Bickerstaff seemingly needs some offense, and Clarkson out of the rotation. Brunson pivots. Shamet back-to-back. No. Green flies in for the board. Threading the needle. Green gets it to go, and one. And somebody got a
thing better than when you're watching fans go to the exit. When you see them trying to beat traffic early because you're because of the impact that you're putting on this court. There's nothing better than watching that.
Brunson goes off the glass. We asked Mike Brown, is it something that you have to mention to your team how big a game this is and the ramifications for a game like this if Detroit were to win? Inside, Smith couldn't finish it. And he said, look, they're aware, but yeah, I reminded them.
Thought it was funny in the meeting with J.B. Bickerstaff, as we see it all over again. J.B. Bickerstaff.
JB's dad, Bernie, was a head coach with Seattle, Denver, Washington, Charlotte, senior basketball advisor with the Pistons. But whatever they're doing at practice is working.
Play the music, JB. Sorry, Bernie.
Cunningham and the Pistons up big on the Knicks. To the rim, the floater goes for Cade Cunningham. This has been a clinic.
I mean, I know they need shooting on the floor. I'd be tempted to give Jeremy Sohan a shot at this on Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, not only a great player, but one of the best clutch players in this league. Third in the league right now, coming in clutch points. Tonight, right now, doesn't look like a clutch situation.
Green extra, and it's out of bounds. It bounced.
You would think he had a much better second half.
Knicks will be home for Houston on Saturday. And Jalen Brunson is hot.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the open, D-Wade talked about the two great point guards. And even though New York's down 14, both of these point guards have been fabulous tonight. And Sohan is indeed playing Cade Cunningham.
Cunningham trying to beat him off the dribble. And Sohan gets a piece.
That's
a hand on a skimmer to Shannon, who will lay it in.
There you go, coach. Got him back in there.
Detroit. It's a 12-point game with them. 112-97. Pistons. Brunson, head and shoulder, spin. Thompson is there, turnover. Cunningham leading the break. Lob it up. Flying is Jenkins for the jam.
Well, we saw the steal from Thompson. J.B. Bickerstaff talked before the game that most guys are either elite defenders on the ball or off the ball. He is elite both ways.
The Brunson kick. Shamet three. Doesn't go. Rebound. Robinson. And he missed it.
It's crazy when a guy like Brunson has 37 and 6. You said he done a good job on him.
Yeah. And a foul is called. And
Swagger tonight. He's showing up and letting you know I'm one of the best.
Shamet with a downtown hit. It's a 16-point game. The door was open ever so slightly as the Knicks started to put some quality possessions together and a couple of stops. But then Detroit, offensive rebound, debilitating for New York. And then a dagger three from Cunningham. He zigzags to the rim, and we are seeing the full array of skills from Cade Cunningham.
What hasn't he done?
There isn't anything he hasn't. You got to start trapping him and get the ball out of his hands.
Towns drives. The banker is good, and the foul.
The studio talked about it pregame, but one of the things the Knicks have to figure out if they're going to make a run is how are they going to play pick and roll defense with Towns' guys setting the screen.
Yep.
You know, he's in that drop. People are just going right at him. He can't really switch. Could they blitz with him? But right now, they haven't found an answer this year for Towns as their center defensively.
Jenkins peeks at the clock, gets a runway, off balance delivery. That's electric from Dennis Jenkins.
Big smile from Rick Pitino over there.
On the pick and roll, you can't lay back and just be lax and let a guy come off and just see a shot or get comfortable, especially a guy like Cade Cunningham. And so I feel like the game plan needs to be different depending on who you're playing against.
Anunoby, one finally goes down from long range. He's now 1 of 7 from
It is get the same coverage all night long.
Under 2 minutes to play. Ball gets knocked around. Feed it for Reed on the fade. And it's rebounded by Towns. Brunson got a three. 33 for Jalen Brunson to go along with 7 assists and 6 rebounds and a steal. Shamet ahead. They need it from Brunson. Towns couldn't convert. And the Pistons come the other way with 1:10. Long strides. The missed jam by Harris, but it's tracked down by Cunningham. 7 to shoot. Under 1 minute to go. The roll by Reed and the finish. What an effort from Paul Reed in a starting role tonight for Detroit.
Well, he's averaged over 13 points a game as a starter. He's got 16 and 7 rebounds tonight.
And Towns fouls Reed with 46 points.
In 2010, 2011, they beat us 3 times. Then they beat us.
Going after. Look, we got to remember, last year, Detroit won both games, regular season games here in the Garden. And they won 2 of the 3 playoff games here in the Garden. But New York went in and won all 3 games in Detroit in the playoffs.
Anunoby, air ball on a 3. So the Knicks lost the season series to Detroit last year and to Boston as Thompson gets the transition deuce, but beat them both in the postseason. The problem is in the way that Detroit has handled the Knicks this season.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's one thing if you get 3-point loss, a 5-point, even a 7 or 8-point loss, but this is the most competitive you've been. They have their top 2 bigs out, and you're going to lose by 15, and that's at home, and that's the game.
The Detroit Pistons complete